Hello everybody, I am Shiadum17, and for this video I will be talking about a movie series. Now these movies shaped a generation, made me the person I am today. These movies made me want to rebel against the system, and it's probably why the way Gen Z is today, and that is The Hunger Games. Brilliant movie, and hopefully you enjoy. Okay, let's talk about Katniss. So, in the beginning of the first movie, we are introduced to Katniss. And Katniss is a girl in District 13, and I said 13, District 12. And she is doing a I know what is a bow and arrow. Okay, a bow and arrow. So she has she has those things that you pull and then it lets go. And we are introduced to her and Gail. When I was younger, it was a big part of my life. So when I was watching all the movies, I finished it all and it was gone and I was super sad. I guess over the years, the hate for Gail kind of risen or rised, because rewatching it, I understand why I don't like Gail, but I think I forgot all the things he did, because I was like, yeah, he did a little bit, but he didn't do that much. And then rewatching this, I was like, oh, he actually did a lot for Katniss. Was he right for her? No, but he still did a lot. So I'm gonna give him his props for right now. Snow. He is the president of this universe that looks over these 12 districts. And the districts all do this thing called the Hunger Games, where basically they pick 2 people from each district and then they go into Hunger Games to fight to the death. And the person that wins gets to have this lavish life. But first they have to murder a bunch of people. And it's children most of the time. It's children. I think it's like a certain age until you don't have to do it anymore. I can't remember what's a certain age, but it looks like young adults. Actually, no. Never mind. Everybody can, because I just remembered there was an old lady that was in the Hunger Games. So nobody is safe. It doesn't matter if you are 5 or you're, 90. If your name gets picked, you're going into the Hunger Games, which is really sad. Katniss and Gail, and they seemed cute in the first movie. Like, I was like, oh, it's something. But then the scene happens. The iconic scene, the scene that breaks my heart, when everybody has to go to that big place in their districts and they're waiting for their name to be called, they're not waiting. They're waiting for somebody else's name to be called, and all of them are scared and everything. And that's when they pick Katniss's sister, Prem. Prem is scared. She's about to go up there, but she's like, Katniss! Katniss! And then Katniss does this. I volunteer as tribute. I volunteer as tribute. And it's beautiful. She is so strong. Because I don't know. I don't know what I would do in that situation. But yeah, anyway, I don't know what I would do in that situation. Like, I'd be like, should I volunteer? But I don't know how to fight. Like, it would be a lot of emotions, but it's just really sad that happened. She volunteers as tribute. Prem gets scooted away and Katniss goes up to stand in the podium. So she's standing there, and then it's the boys section. So they pick a letter from the boy section, and Gail, he probably like, I need to be up there with her, and everything. He doesn't get picked, so Peta gets picked. And when I first saw Peta, I was like, Peta, because I love him. I love Peta. But when I first saw the movie, I was like, who's this? This is interesting. And you see the tension between them, and you're like, is it just because they got picked and they're scared, or is there something going on? We don't know. Well, I know. But like, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. And now they're in separate rooms. And we see Katniss in the room waiting, And Prim walks in and the mother walks in. And, you know, Katniss is talking to Prim. She's like, it's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. She gives her the pen that Katniss gave to Prim earlier in the movie. But she's like, to keep you safe. So that pen did not keep Prim safe at all. No, like, that's honestly the first thing that I remember thinking. I was like, that pen didn't help her at all. And she talks to the mother and she's like, hey, look, you need to be strong for her. Don't cry. I don't want to hear your tears. Be strong for her. So she hugs her mother and her sister, which is really sad. And then they drag them out because they're evil. Because the Capitol is evil. And then Gail can come in. So she's talking to Gail. And, you know, she's crying and stuff. And I was like, this is so emotional. I'm like, oh my. Like, I feel so bad. And then he gets dragged away. And then she's alone. Until they have to go. They're like in a train. And it's Peta and it's Katniss. So Katniss is just kind of serious and stuff, which I would be very serious if I was in that situation. Peta is not like, this is fun, but he's trying to be like, okay, so what's our plan, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think I could like think about that. I think I would just be crying a lot. But anyway, but yeah. So Katniss is like, look, I don't want to talk to you. I don't mess with you. And he was like, look, I'm sorry. And I don't know if it was later on or in that, you know, part of the scene, but we see that when Katniss was starving, Peta came out with the bread. He was throwing it to the pigs, and he throws a piece of bread at Katniss. I think he was trying to help, but I don't know. But it was also wet. So the bread was wet. It was some wet bread. So I don't know how enjoyable that was, but I mean, it was a nice sentiment, you know, but it was like, ugh. Love Haymitch. So he is on the train. They're trying to talk to him, and Katniss is getting annoyed because Haymitch, you know, he's doing, you know, he's drinking the tea and he's not paying attention. So Katniss is like, hey, look, do something. And, you know, Haymitch tells her his wisdom and everything. He's like, don't die, basically. So, you know, thanks for the help. And then the lady, which I forgot her name and I feel so bad, but she's the one with the big outfits and the colorful stuff and everything. She comes in and she's like talking to them. So they tell them the rundown of what's going to happen about the Hunger Games and what you have to do, you know, how you're going to get things. You got to get a sponsor to help you out in the games, like giving them tips. And then eventually we go to the Capitol and we see that whole thing. So I think I'm skipping around, but we go to the parts where Katniss and Peta are dressed up, and we see, I forgot his name, and I'm gonna be upset because he's literally amazing. The black guy who does the designs for Katniss. I love him, but I forgot his name, and I feel really bad. But yeah, he comes in, and he's like, press this button, and then, you know, you're gonna be like on fire and stuff. And they're like, is this dangerous? And they're like, no. So they go onto the carriage ride because all the contestants from each district from 1 to 12 is in the carriage ride, and they're like in the circle kind of, and they're gonna be like in front of the president, and the president's gonna say whatever speech, whatever evil speech he has. Katniss and Peta is on the carriage and they're like trying to wave and stuff, you know, and that's when Peta, he goes to grab Katniss's hand and she's like, no, you know, and he's like, look, they're gonna love it, just trust me. And she was like, giving him the eye. And then they do the iconic scene where they put their hands up. Put their hands up. Their outfits go on fire. And it's so cool. Like, it's so cool. And that really got the attention of Snow. He was intrigued. I can see he was intrigued because I was. So the game maker and all the other people who like are in the Capitol, the contestants have to show them their strength. Not everything, because they don't want to show them too much to, you know, give away all their talents, but enough to get points. So everybody does that, blah, blah. Katniss, who is in in District 12, she's the last one to do her performance. She picks up her arrow, and the game maker and all the people that are up, because they're you know, you've seen the movie. They're up there, they're laughing, all this stuff, being super rude. Katniss is noticing that, but she's like, I'm just gonna do it. You know, she hits the arrow, bam. Hits the arrow, she kind of misses. They laugh. They laugh at Katniss. Anyway, I'm so bad at that. So they laugh at her. So she's like, oh, really? So another iconic scene. There is a roasted pig, like a huge roasted pig, and there's an apple right there. She grabs her bow and arrow. I got it. She puts it on, whatever. She shoots it, and it lands on the apple of the pig. And all the people in that room were shooketh. They were shocked that she would do that. It's like, you're not paying attention. I'm going to make you pay attention. I love Katniss. No, let's pause. I love Katniss as a character. She is so cool. She made me want to be like a rebel. I'm never doing that. But like, I couldn't do it. Like, no. But she made me feel that confident. There needs to be more women characters who have those confidence that can be leads. Like, she went against the Capitol. And honestly, that's why I wonder why people are shocked that Gen Z turned out the way that we turned out. Because you literally made movies like this about going against the government, and you're surprised? Like, you're shocked? Anyway. Oh, and she does that bow scene where she's like I love her. So she gets out of there. She has a penthouse kind of situation because they're District 12 and all the districts have rooms, and she's the 12th ones. Her and Peta are the 12th ones, so they're on the top. They're talking in the penthouse, and the lady with all the big outfits, she's upset because she's like, what are you doing? You were not supposed to do that. You're about to get your points dropped. Why aren't you thinking? You know, she's mad at her. Haymitch is applauding her, and I would be too, because that was amazing. Later, they look at their points and everything, and I can't remember what Peta got, and I don't remember what Katniss got, but I think she got like a 9 or something, and Peta got like a 6. And so by then, you see the tension really between them. Like, Katniss had tension between Peta, but Peta was still kind of being like sweet and everything to her. But once they saw that, it was like, ooh, now I really have to like get on that. Eventually, Peta and Katniss don't exercise / work together when it comes to the games, because only one can survive, you know? Only one. And you can build alliances, but friendship is a no-go in the Hunger Games. Katniss is still fighting or, you know, practicing with Haymitch, and Peta is on his own. I'm just gonna skip. There's a lot of stuff that happens, but I'm gonna skip to the games. Now it's begun. So the games start, and we see them. I gotta remember because I'm gonna mix up the two games, and I'm trying not to. So we see that there's a pile of stuff in the front, and yeah, there's a pile of stuff. The first one, I think they were just like in the woods or something, and they have to wait before they run and get their stuff, or, you know, they die instantly from something. So they're waiting, and it's like, go. So everybody is running to get the stuff. They're each other. It's bad. But Katniss learned from Haymitch that don't get the stuff. It's not worth it at this point. Run, because you don't want to, you know, get killed that fast. You don't want to survive. Someone trying to get her. She's like, no, bam, you know. She ducking them. And Katniss runs. We're going to the first night. People are dying, you know, and it's really sad. People lost their lives. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Because there was so much stuff that happened. So she's in the game, she's by herself, and she's running. And that's when she hears somehow that there's a group of people, including Peta. He's in that group, and the only reason why they're keeping him in the group is to find Katniss so they can get her out, so you know, she's not a problem for them anymore. Eventually, the group, including Peta, which they catch up with her, but she climbs a tree. And they can't climb trees, which is so great for her, because if they knew how to climb a tree, she probably would have been, you know, gone by then. But they don't. That's a good thing, you know? Learn how to climb a tree. I can't but, you know, learn it. And she gets a sponsor or some type of what? She gets something to help her in that situation. I think she is a knife. So she gets a knife, and Roo, she climbs in the trees, and she's like, hey, there. And there's like a big nest of like bugs, like dangerous bugs, but she don't know. So she's cutting it, and they're like hitting her, and she has to like slap herself like, ow. It's so intense. It's so intense and cool. And that's when the thing of beetles or whatever, bees, like a mixture of hornets, I don't know. It's a mixture of, it's some type of concoction of dangerous bugs, and they drop, she gets stung, and all the people get stung. So they're running. People are, you know, passing away. So yeah, she gets stung. She's on the floor, and she's hallucinating. She's like, you know, doing this. Whoa. And Peta, he sees her. He's like, Katniss, run! Run, Katniss! Go! Because all of them are gone, you know. Katniss, go! Run! What are you doing? And she just like, you know. I hate myself. So she runs. She's running. You know, somehow it's gone now. She's not hallucinating or anything. And she bumps into Roo. And so her and Roo have this like nice and sweet like few scenes where they're helping each other. And then tragedy hits because Roo dies. And first I want to say, when I first saw this movie, when Roo died, the pain I felt, the pain and the betrayal. I didn't even know the character, you know, but I felt like I was Katniss in that situation, because all Roo wanted was to survive. She was just a child. Like, oh my, like it was so heartbreaking, and I feel so bad for that character, even though she's not real. Like she's not real, but to this day, like I get so emotional. And I remember the first time I saw it, I cried. It was a lot. So yeah. I was in real tears. Yeah, then Katniss has to go because, you know, she can't stay with Roo. Okay, so yeah, so later on, I'm gonna cry. I'm so happy that that black guy, the black guy that was with Roo, he went to fight that other girl, because one of the girls was trying to fight Katniss and kill her, but he killed her because the girl killed Roo. And so he was like, oh, so you got rid of Roo. You're the reason why she's gone. And he was like, bam, revenge. And he looked at Katniss. He was like, I'm not going to get you now because of Roo. But the next time I see you, it's you and me. And I was like, respect. Because at the end of the day, one of them got to win, you know? So I feel bad for that man, though. I was like, that black man, he was just trying, like, that's some respect right there. To not get rid of the person that's like a target. I appreciate that, but you know, he didn't make it, which is sad. That's not funny, but he did make it. So yeah, later on, somewhere, Peta and Katniss reunite, and something's wrong with Peta. I can't remember exactly what happened, but he got injured. He did this thing where he painted his body a color. I don't know how he got the time, but he painted his hand like a tree, I think.
Hey, look at my boo. Yep, that's my man. He a little artiste, you know. He can do a little something. I don't care what anybody says. I will always defend Peta. He could do the worst, and I'll still defend him. I don't care. That's my man. Okay, stay back. Anyway.
Or like put some leaves over him and like paint. I don't know I don't know how he got the paint. I don't know how he did that, but he hid. Peta and Katniss got together, and she was like nursing him at home. And oh my gosh, I'm crying. So they're in the cave. Okay, they're in the cave, and they're talking. She's like trying to comfort him, and he's like, "Don't leave." Like, he's like, "Don't leave me. I don't want to be alone." And she's just like, "It's okay. Okay, it's okay." And I'm just like, you know, I'm crying, I'm emotional. But I felt so bad for Gail. I felt in that moment, like when they were cuddling in the cave, I was like, wow. I feel bad for him because he really loves her, And that has to hurt to see the girl that you love with somebody else, because it don't look like the games. Like, that don't look like, that don't look like, it was just like, oh, it was just the games. No, it looks like you're developing feelings for this dude. I don't know. But if I was Gail, I'd be like, I would be heartbroken. My heart,
Not only was Katniss cuddling with the dude, but she was cuddling with Peta in front of the, national TV. On national TV. She was in kind of a relationship with Gail. Okay, yep, that's all.
Peta was just like, no, don't leave. Like, you're gonna, he was still worried about her. Like, he didn't want her to die. He didn't want to die, but he didn't want her to lose her life because he might die. But she was like, no, I have to save you. And once he fell asleep, she goes, gets the medicine for him, and then comes back and saves him. And I'm like, yes, Peta! Peta! I'm celebrating. Once he's fully healthy, they continue to do their adventure and get rid of the other people. And basically in this movie, Katniss did have to use her arrows and stuff, but she wasn't really, it was just other people getting themselves out, and then she was just there, but she still did her thing at the end. It's the end. A lot of them are out. It was the white guy. It was the crazy white guy in the beginning who said he was going to get rid of everybody and all this stuff, and he's doing too much. It's always the white guy. I'm sorry. But yeah, they have to fight against him. Oh, that's what it was. So he gets Peta, and he's holding Peta, and he's like, you're not going. Because there's a bunch of lions or something about to eat him. I think it was the first movie. So I think the first movie, they changed the, or maybe it was the second. I don't know. I think it's the first. It was one of the movies when the game maker told the people that if two people in a district win, then they can both be saved. But then they changed it. I think that was the first movie. So they changed it. So Peta and Katniss are looking at each other, and they're like, because they're the only two that is alive now. Do it for me. You have a life. I don't have anybody. That's what Peta's saying. And Katniss like, no, I can't do it. No. So, and I didn't say this. I don't know why, but I forgot. Katniss had berries, and they found it from a girl. She ate the berries, but she accidentally, herself. I don't know why she kept the berries, but she did. She kept the berries. And when they said that, they have to fight each other, Katniss at that moment was like, you know what? Let's eat these. And Peta like, what? What do you mean? Just like, do you trust me? He's like, yeah. Okay. Let's do it. On 3. And so they're about to eat the berries. And it's so tense. It's like, are they gonna, is that the end? Is this it? And then the game maker is like, wait, hold on. I would like to announce your winners of the something Hunger Games. And I'm like, this is crazy, They're both able to go home. But the game maker gets in trouble with Snow. And he, he's gone. He didn't make it out because you could have just let them eat the berries. You're worried. I don't know. You're worried about that, but you're not worried. I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. But anyway, that's it. The first Hunger Games, masterpiece. If they ended off on that movie and we weren't able to get the movies after that, I think I would have cried. So I'm so happy that we were able to see these other movies, because the first movie is so great. We actually got to see the building of the relationship with Peta and Katniss. And we got to see how Gail and Katniss work together. And with Gail and Katniss, that's more of a comfort thing. But Peta was something different. But at the same time, Peta's the more sensitive one, and Gail is more the tough, I gotta protect you. But Peta's also the protecting one. I don't know. But I just love it. I love the mixture of romance but also action. Like it balances out and it doesn't get so annoying. You're like, okay, we get it. You love each other, you know? So that's the first movie and I love it. I love it.
The Hunger Games is a game that you play to succeed. Unless you don't, then you're I don't know.